Welcome back to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast, new family, new year, new me edition. It's good to be back in the driver's seat, Natasha.
I can't believe it's 2023 already.
It's 2024, my dear.
What?
Yeah, it's 2024.
What the hell?
What the hell is right? We got a new dog. Is anything else new in the house at all? We got this new dog. Is something else new?
Okay, Moshe.
Is there anything else new
you
going
have
on?
an Emmy that you keep presenting in places in our house where Emmys don't belong. And Emmy does not belong on the kitchen table.
Oh, is the Emmy... Is that the Emmy?
Emmy doesn't belong on the podcast table. It also does not even belong in a living room. An Emmy belongs in your office.
All I can say is that I respect the autonomy of women, and I always have, as a strong, powerful ally to the female community. I'm not going to tell a woman where she can and can't stand. If Emmy wants to be here, Emmy can be here. You know? She's a good, powerful woman.
But am I right? An Emmy belongs in your office.
Can I say this? When we were going to the Emmy...
With space around it like you might be collecting them.
Can I say, this is my Emmy. I won it. And when we went to the Emmy Award ceremonies, we were walking on the red carpet, and they took a few pictures of Natasha and I, and then they said to Natasha, okay, can we just get a few quick singles of you, Natasha? And I was like pushed down the red carpet, and I was staring at her like...
She didn't get any singles.
And Natasha's like... She's doing her like...
Well,
that,
they're asking me.
You know that Hollywood thing that women do where they put their hand on their upper rib cage?
Where else are you supposed to put it? You're either pregnant and expecting and you put it on your stomach, or Emmy red carpet pose.
How did they teach you to do that? It's like you put it way up on your rib and then you point your elbow forward and you go like this.
No, you're just trying to make your body look right, you know.
So I say to the guy, I go, I know that I'm married to a celebrity with over 13 appearances on Funny You Should Ask, but you think they maybe could have a few of me since I'm the one that's fucking nominated? And then the guy goes, oh, yeah, so sorry. Let me go ahead and do that. And then he pulls me back over toward, because the way a red carpet works, I hate red carpets, just so you know.
Honey, we just call it the carpet.
Oh, I'm sorry. The carpet. Just so you know, the carpet is one of the worst experiences in no matter what.
Yeah, like there's a few things. Like when you're someone like me, who
like
doesn't,
a carpet freak,
who doesn't have a lot of
a carpet hound.
I would say solid F list. No,
you're not on the F list, Tosh.
I'm just saying, like, the trick to the red carpet is if you're someone that people don't know who you are. Most people, some people are like, some people might know who you are. You'd want to get there early. You don't want to be like, Angelina, and then you come up next, and then everyone's like, okay.
Ooh, bummer alert on the carpet. But anyway,
and the celebrities always get there right when it's like about to end. So you just the trick is to just get there super early.
They're humiliating in the best of times, right? But the thing is, every time I've ever been on the carpet, I don't give a shit because I'm like, this is humiliating. I don't want anything to do with it. Just I want to go sit in the seat and watch the premiere of the TV show that my friend made. I don't even belong here. But this is the one time where I'm like, I'm nominated. So I say to the guy, well, I was nominated. You know how they're taking like multiple portraits of my wife right now? I was actually the one that was nominated. He's like, oh, so sorry. He goes back. He pulls me back because the way they work is it's linear. They're pulling you down a line.
Right. He pulls you back
and he
to
goes,
the front of the line.
Back to the front of the line to the and go, we wanted a few and she goes, no, we're done. We're good. And then I walk away, and then Natasha finally remembers to be encouraging to me. At that point, she goes, no, honey, you got to go back. So then I'm like, I don't even want to go back. But then now I go back.
I said, who cares about these people? Just get your picture.
So now we go back for a third time. And finally, the guy who was charged with walking me down the carpet was a little more forceful. So I actually did get a couple of singles. I did. I did this.
Well, honey, I'm very happy for you. I do want you to know that this Emmy is communal property.
Absolutely.
It is in our home.
Yeah. Natasha put it on the floor as a doorstop. I thought that would be the funniest thing. Apparently there's an actress in Hollywood who puts her Oscars in the bathroom so that everybody can pose with it in the mirror.
Oh, that's cute.
Maybe we should do that. Anyway, I won an Emmy.
Okay, so we haven't talked to people since the holidays, Moshe.
I know.
We had this amazing trip to Mexico planned.
Natasha had this whole long thing. We're going to Tulum. Let's go to Tulum. And she told our kid, we're going to Tulum.
We spent about a month booking it.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got everything. We got our deals. We used our miles. We got these boutique hotels I was all excited about. And then the night before we left, my daughter looked at her passport and she goes, Mommy, how can I travel? This picture is of me as a baby. And I
mean,
was like,
if you've never seen a child's passport, it is hilarious. It's like you could literally pick a bottle of Gerber baby food and soak the wrapper and just rip off the Gerber baby and put it on our child's passport.
We got it when she was like a newborn. And I was like, oh no, they last 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I looked at her at the expiration date and it was a month ago.
So we couldn't go to Tulum. She's texting me. I don't think we're going to be able to go to Tulum.
It was the night before. I was so upset. I tried to work because it was a really short trip, so it just didn't make sense.
We had to talk to our daughter and lower the taboom.
Oh my God. She was so upset. And she was just, it really put things in perspective for me though, when you have like a toddler bawling like, I wanted to go to Tulum.
Why can't we go to Tulum, Mommy? Why can't we go to Tulum? So
I never went to one vacation when I was little.
You never got to go to Tulum?
No. We drove from Rockford to Epcot Center in Florida in a car. And I remember we slept on the rest stops. You know, like the rest stops that you stop at?
Oh, in a rest stop.
In a Honda, the three of us.
This is
the
why,
3 kids and then the 2 people up front.
This is why I take my child camping.
Yeah.
We didn't go on vacation. We went camping, and it felt almost the same. I never went on a vacation. I guess I went to Yosemite. That was the closest I came to a vacation, and that was good enough for me. You know, I didn't need to go to Tulum as a young man. I just needed to get out of town and contemplate Half Dome.
Well, if you have a kid out there, children's passports expire in 5 years.
This is an informative
hot
podcast.
Info.
If nothing else, this is an informative podcast. We had a wonderful New Year's. You know, for many years, Natasha and I, some of you have probably come to our New Year's parties. Natasha did not want to do, New Year's shows. Natasha didn't want to do the big show that we do in Oakland because she just wanted to stay at home and be invited to a fancy Hollywood soiree and celebrate the old-fashioned way at a party, right?
Well, first of all, we didn't do the show because the theater is being sold.
But you were over it, right? And I've always felt the opposite. I've always felt the great benefit of being a stand-up comedian on New Year's is that you never have to wonder what should I be doing tonight. You go, I work on New Year's. I'm a guy that works on New Year's. I do a show. Then you never feel pathetic because you're always doing what you're supposed to be doing. But this year, we decided to take the year off. And guess who came a-calling from the Hollywood Party Association?
No one.
Nobody. That's right, nobody. But my big brother came through and invited us to a party. It was a pretty cute, sweet party. Very nice.
Nice dinner party.
It was just a nice dinner party. It was a nice way to ring in the new year, to be honest. A lot of interesting people. An ex-art dealer of Keith Haring's was there. A professor of history was there. And...
Oh, that girl I was sitting next to was the world-renowned happiness expert.
An expert on happiness. A professor of happiness.
And like the second we sat down at dinner...
Somebody raises a glass and says, 2023 was a dark time, and 2024... there's light ahead. May we have a better year this year than we did last year.
She was like, all of a sudden her face fell and she goes, yeah, I just think 2024, we're just going to be in a dictatorship.
Yeah, Trump's getting back in and it's just a fucking dictatorship. This is the world-renowned expert on happiness.
I go, lady, if you're not happy, what do you think we're going to be? You can't act like that. You can't say that.
Couldn't get 30 seconds into a hopeful toast about 2024 without the world expert on happiness going, the dictatorship is coming.
Maybe he'll die. Oh,
he
can
will
I not
die.
say that?
Yeah, you can say that. You're allowed to say maybe Donald J. Trump, hero to us all, will die. Maybe he will die.
I don't want my daughter knowing who he is. It's not.
He gonna die.
Everyone's like, oh, you don't like liberals are afraid of Republicans. No, I'm afraid of Trump. The guy is just like a.
You sound like a world-renowned happiness expert, to be honest with you right now.
I can't. Remember it was like every day an onslaught.
I don't want to go back, Natasha. I was just bringing it up.
Was that during the pandemic?
Oh, that was
we had the pandemic and we had to look at Trump news? No. He
I
switched
don't
out
know.
fast.
All I
right.
can say, you're bringing up Trump, but all I can say is things are looking pretty good for 2024 for old Moshe here, Emmy Award winner. And I got my new book coming out at the end of this month. I'm so excited about it. I really hope all of our listeners have pre-ordered it. It is I am so proud of it. I worked so hard on it. I beg you. Is that pathetic? I'm begging you to pre-order it. Please. Please pre-order it. Please.
They already did, honey.
Some of them didn't. Do you want to know what the happiness expert told me?
What?
This is pretty depressing. She was kind
She was kind of a downer.
a downer, yeah. I said to her, I go, what do you think the happiest animal is?
Oh, that's interesting. Oh my God, does she just say that's what she? I'm gonna start saying that's what I do when Uber drivers ask me
I'm
what I
a
do.
world-renowned happiness expert. You'll never hear the end of it. You think telling them you're a stand-up comedian is bad?
Well, then people will ask you questions and you'll just make it up.
So I said to her, what do you think the world's happiest animal is? What do you think the world's happiest animal is?
A dog.
That's my answer.
Maybe it's obvious, Moshe.
Well, I think that. A dog.
What does she say?
Because a dog, you're an animal, but you're not in the rat race for food, right? You live with God, and He brings you 3 meals a day. You know, you live with the Lord.
Yeah, but you have no free will. You can't
don't
be
need
like,
free
I
will.
need to go for a walk.
Yeah, God takes you for a walk once in a while.
Why are you calling humans God?
Because to a dog, we are God. I mean, what they worship us.
I have a question. We have this German Shepherd. It's 60 pounds, and everyone's saying we need to put it in this massive crate. And everyone's like, oh, the dogs love the crate. How do they know
How do they know that they're in a crate?
that the dogs love the crate?
Oh.
Dogs can't talk.
'Cause I
Every
guess-
single person, everything online is like, dogs love their crates.
Maybe it's because they are silent and wag their tail.
Crates are ugly. I hate it.
Well, anyway, I said to the world-renowned happiness expert, what do you think the happiest animal is?
Oh, right.
And she said, sometimes when human beings are in late-stage dementia, they can be really happy. That's what she said.
She's saying the happiest animal are elderly
Humans.
human beings.
Humans who are in dementia, but they're past the point where they realize they're in dementia.
Did she understand the question? Because animals aren't humans.
Oh, Natasha, yes, they are.
They are?
I don't know if you've read the news lately.
Wait, but when you said what's the happiest animal, she said humans?
I mean, humans are in.
Am I stupid? That doesn't seem. You said animals.
Humans are animals.
Humans are animals?
Is this really a realization you're coming to on the podcast right now, Natasha?
I mean, animals were.
Do you know about evolution?
Am I stupid? Brian, would you call humans animals? Laura?
It might be the oldest animal.
No, we're not the oldest animal. Is everybody but me unintelligent here? Cockroaches are older than us.
Are cockroaches animals?
Of course they are.
No, they're insects.
The fuck are you talking about, Natasha?
A cockroach is an animal?
What do you
there's
think it is?
humans?
A robot?
Animals? Insects?
No, honey. No, that's not the breakdown. What the fuck is that?
What? Oh, I'm digging a hole. Okay, well.
Wait, you thought maybe that
Listen,
insects weren't animals?
Well, when you're like, what's your favorite animal? And you say ant.
No
You
one
seem
says
like an
that.
idiot.
Not because they're not animals, but because they're nobody's favorite animal.
Humans is a weird answer.
Thank you.
It's weird.
It's a little weird.
No, it's not that weird. I took humans out of the equation because we're filled with existential angst. We're filled with who am I?
Listen, this woman sounds like a depressive. She's like, the happiest animals are elderly people who are losing their minds.
That was the point of the story.
Oh, okay.
But something much more interesting and revealing occurred while telling
Homo
the story.
sapiens? I mean, I thought we were more like not. Isn't there like an animal category where you don't involve the humans?
We're not-
We separate them, kind of.
We're not wild animals. We don't live in.
All right, listen, like I said, there's large swaths of my education missing.
Well,
If someone asked me what my favorite animal was and I said my child, I think that'd be weird.
I think that would be
And I don't
weird
think
too.
that would answer the question.
Why don't we find out?
If someone asked me what my favorite animal was and I said my dog, that would make sense.
Well, let's see what our caller has to say. They're calling in from Berlin. I have a feeling they're going to have a pretty heavy grasp on phylum.
All right, well, listen, we're going to talk to Tara in Berlin.
Here we go. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
You know what I like?
What's that then?
Sleeping next to you. You know what I like it on?
What?
A Helix mattress.
I love my Helix mattress.
If you had to choose between me or a Helix mattress, what are you choosing? I sleep next to you on an old coiled-ass, spring-ass mattress, or you get to sleep alone in a Helix? What are you choosing?
Honey, I'm probably going to sleep alone on even the old coiled mattress. No, I'm just kidding.
I hear you. Listen, Helix is the best mattress we have ever slept on. We sleep on a Helix every single night. My back troubles have gone away. Natasha's sleeping cool. Life is good.
The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection, the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids.
And our kid sleeps on it.
And she loves it.
It's awesome. There's different layers of memory foam to provide optimal pressure relief if you sleep on your side. They've got all these different kinds of mattresses to fit the way that you sleep. How do you find that out? You take their quiz. They got one on the website. It's super awesome. I've never slept better in my life.
And if your spine needs some extra love, they got you. Every Helix mattress has a hybrid design, combining individually wrapped steel coils in the base with premium foam layers on top. It is the perfect combination of comfort and support. We're staring at our phones all day. We're hunched over. You need to have a good night's sleep.
And I get one on my Helix. We've got a special deal for you. If you go to helixsleep.com/honeymoon and use the promo code HelixPartner20, you will get 20% off of your order. 20% off of, I'm telling you, the greatest mattress I've ever slept upon. So just go to helixsleep.com/honeymoon and use that code, HelixPartner20.
Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/honeymoon and use code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
Tara,
you look like you live in Berlin.
you do definitely have a Berlin hair and energy about you.
Absolutely, yes.
Tara, I have a
Why
question.
are you rocking? Oh,
Why am I rocking? Oh, I'm on one of those bouncy balls that's like good for your back and Pilates.
It looks
it
cool.
was like a little more than you just getting comfortable.
But
That's like vaguely sexual.
No, but
She's just like riding
I
this
know.
thing.
No, I'm on my Pilates ball. Yeah.
It looks cool. I panicked when Natasha asked you that you're going to be like, I am autistic, and this is how I self-soothe.
I am autistic, and I'm also a huge fan. So,
Okay, great. Yeah. This is probably
weird
the
shit. Yeah.
This is
I
probably
heard-
the smoothest first 30 seconds of an interaction we've had on the podcast.
I will say though that a lot of women in their 20s and 30s now are getting diagnosed as autistic later in life because autism presents itself a little different in women, and they haven't, they
true?
didn't study it in the same way that they did the men.
That's interesting. Are you really autistic? Is that true?
I mean, I guess I'm finding that out now. So.
Let me
Guess
just ask you.
came in for more than I bargained for.
I have
Yeah.
a very simple one question test to determine if you're autistic or not. Do you think that cockroaches are or are not animals? Cockroaches.
I kill a cockroach. So, yeah, I'm a firm believer in they are animals, but they're a nuisance, so I kill them. So I have no feelings about them. Does that make me more of a sociopath rather than?
You're neurotypical, is what I would say, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry to have to tell you that.
If someone asked you what your favorite animal was and you said a human, does that make sense to you?
Ugh, no, absolutely not.
Thank you.
All right. Well, she's saying that more on a German people are bad kind of philosopher Nietzsche style. I can tell.
That's a tip I was on too.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It seemed like it. All right.
Wait, how can we help you, Tara?
Well, so the thing is I've been single for about 7-8 years now. Basically, ever since I got sober. So I got sober back in the States, and ever since then, I moved to Berlin, this big, beautiful international city. And I started a new career. I started a creative side hustle. I turned that into my full-time career. And ever since I've gotten healthy, I've had a hell of a time meeting people. Ever since I got my shit together, I moved to a city where kind of everyone parties and no one has their shit together.
Got it.
So it's the challenge. Yeah.
Are you? What is the creative side hustle? Do you want to say? You don't have to say. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I produce events, and I'm a comedian. So I'm on stage 6 nights a week, which makes it more ironic. I'm in front of people all the time, but then I go home and I listen to relationship podcasts being like, wow, that sounds nice.
Okay,
Well, one thing you could do is start talking about how good you are in bed
That
in your
is true.
act. That's what the men do.
Oh,
it is true.
oh, okay, there you go. I should start fucking a stool and
No, but seriously, I mean, I don't like that you're a comedian and called in on our podcast. Obviously, that's disrespectful, and you should have warned us. But I think that, I, I know that men. I can tell male comedians like sexual signalers that they do in their act. It's people very diabolically put in their act little like things that are signals to the single women in the audience. Not only am I available, but here's a means on which you can contact me. You know, they'll make a slide into my DMs joke. They'll say I'm single now, and this girl hit me up on Instagram. It's like these little signalers, and I think not enough
Okay.
female comedians do that. Probably because men are quite often violent, predatory animals, much like cockroaches.
got it.
Are there any like straight edge? What is our friend's bar like? They're
So a sober bar
sober bars.
in Berlin, though.
No, is that not a thing there?
I mean,
I don't know.
there's kind of like a culture of like mocktails. You can find hip bars, and I think you can find that. It's also just a matter of timing. Like since I'm working 6 nights a week, it's kind of a lot to ask to take a night off to like go to a bar.
Would you fuck a fan?
What I what?
Fuck a fan. Would you fuck
Oh
a
yeah,
fan?
I was gonna ask you the ethics on that. I would definitely fan fuck. I have on a couple of occasions, but it's also a lot of the fans that come to these international comedy shows are a lot of like young men who work in tech, and they're like 25, and
Oh, yeah.
it's a little too young for me.
Perish the thought. A young man traveling through Berlin gives you the night of your life and then gets on a train to Amsterdam. You never have to think about him again.
I have done it. I have done it on occasion, but
Well, first I want to say I can totally understand your frustration because that is very annoying to like get clean and sober and then be like, oh, wait, like, but maybe that isn't the issue. You know,
Yeah.
it's maybe I'm just saying like maybe there's some other, it sounds to me like you're not really giving it time. You're not
yeah.
like, are you on the apps?
Yeah, no, I'm on the apps. I'm a big chemistry person. Like I like what you suggest, Natasha. Like go out and meet people in person. It's just I have a hard time finding that time, and so that's why it is a little curious. Like can I fuck a fan? How can I approach that? I mean, there's not a lot of men going out in groups to comedy shows. It's mostly like men on dates. But if I do find someone,
Here's your
maybe
problem.
That's one way to do it.
You do all expat shows, basically. You do all English speaking shows, I assume.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
there is like traveling through town. Nobody's there to give you love. They're there to give you one night of dorm room fucking, basically. Hostel sex. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
That's kind of what the city feels like a little bit. You
Right.
know, it's like either procreators or partiers, and I'm somewhere in between all that.
Oh, I get that. This is interesting. Do you have to do sets 6 nights a week? Is that important to your income?
No, I mean, I take 1 or 2 nights off. I go to karaoke. I have a nice group of friends that aren't in comedy. We'll have dinner, but it's kind of like a set group. We have movie night. I'm a little older too. I'm not in my 20s. I'm, quite a bit older than
older.
that. So
Autistic.
yeah.
Do you go to meetings? Is that something that you do?
No, not anymore. I did when I first got sober, and it was really helpful. But I did befriend like one awesome woman that I just happened to meet through comedy.
Go
who was also
back.
sober,
Yeah,
and-
what about that? What about going to these English speaking meetings? A lot of those people are there, and they're just like
Yeah.
you. They want to be cool, but they don't know how anymore. No, not
Yeah,
so
I know. I kind of asked that friend about it. I was like, "Do you think that's a good way to meet guys?" And she's like, "Girl, it's rough in the
much.
some of the Berlin ones."
But there's
But,
so many meetings.
Yeah,
Aren't
well,
there?
Yeah.
in Berlin, there's only going to be so many English speaking meetings. It's going to be a select group, I would say. I think, I
Yeah.
think you might be an app girl. It seems like that is the way for you. You're so busy.
Yeah,
You have a very specific thing that makes you stick out, which is that you don't drink. And I think apps are your way.
yeah. I have been on those. I have trouble. I have trouble even kind of getting to the point where we have like a first date on the apps. I'm not. Maybe I'm doing something wrong with the like assessment thing, but it's there's a lot of language barriers. I value banter. It's hard to sense chemistry even if someone looks physically attractive unless there's like some.
For this one though, for apps, you got to skip chemistry. Chemistry is for when you meet up at the shit on my chest bar in Berlin. Like the apps are just a means to get to the coffee shop, and then you figure out if you have chemistry.
Right.
That's the thing that apps are good for, is that you don't have to. Everybody's there for romance, so you just cut to the chase. Hey, meet me at the Reichstag or whatever, and and let's see if we have chemistry. You find out in person. That's what I think.
Right. And how much do you need to like ask like what they're looking for ahead of time? Because for me, I'm like, it depends on the person. Like if you're, I ultimately want a relationship, meaning a boyfriend that's monogamous, but I don't expect every relationship to turn into that. But I'm definitely not like someone who likes one night stands. I can't really sleep with someone more than twice without, deciding if we're dating or not. It's just,
Natasha?
kind of my thing.
I feel like maybe you don't flirt very much.
That could be it. Maybe it's the autism.
Well, I think that, it's like, it's not like, what do you want? Well, what do you want? Okay, I want that too. Okay, well, I'll meet you for coffee. Are you going to get a flat white? Yes, I'll get a flat white and maybe some, it's like, well, how do we make it a little more, I don't know I mean, you know what I mean? Like if someone asks you something, you don't have to be direct. I guess that's like flirting to me is like about not being a direct. It's like you can, I don't know. I just think you can like be a little more playful, be a little just on the apps or in, it's like, and you don't have to say like, I haven't dated anyone in 8 years. I have, it's like all this stuff, like keep your mystery. You have to have this like sort of air of, you're doing your own thing and you're I don't know.
I agree with you, Natasha. I think let me just venture a guess here. You lost control of your drinking and drug use, and you gained control by getting sober, and then you became like a powerful career-minded woman that works 6 nights a week and were attracted to move to the most type A countries, I would say toxically type A country in the world. I think you are a woman who likes to be a boss and likes to be in control. And now you're going, when it comes to dating, how do I figure out? I don't think I'm good at apps. I need to get chemistry. What about chemistry? And then what do I tell them on the app that I want? I don't know if I want a one night stand, but you don't need, I would say stop trying to control this stuff and just go out and have a good time with go on 10 dates. And see what happens.
Yeah.
And also when someone's like, what do you want? Like, you don't have to answer them.
Yeah, you say,
it's none of their business.
Say, I don't know. What do you want?
Yeah, like just being a little more playful, like just have more fun in the answers and like nothing. Don't feel like everything's riding on it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's like almost like a little bit of like a rejection. It's like it doesn't have like I don't know. It's you have a cool life and. Most people don't even have one career, but you also have a side hustle, You have like 2 things and you made it happen internationally.
You know what you could do is you could tell the guys when they ask you, what do you want? You say, well, I learned something from The Golden Bachelor. I'm looking not for someone to live with, but someone that I can't live without. Think about that. I really believe what I said. I think that of all careers, you have chosen the one that is the most about control. It's stand-up comedy is all about like control the crowd, look at me, listen to me, I'm in charge, I'm the alpha. You moved to Controltown USA, Berlin.
Germans, man.
You lost control of alcohol and then got it back. Now here you are, you are in control and you're trying to apply that desire for control to your dating life. And I think the secret to you is to soften just in this one part of your life and lose and just give up control.
And when I meet someone in person, I feel like I'm actually a pretty good flirt. Like if I decide that like I like this guy, I definitely go for it. But usually those situations, they just never work out. There's a weird timing thing, right? Because I'm very fussy. And when I find someone I like, I absolutely go for it. I absolutely flirt. I put myself out there. But they're often, Moshe, you like this one, they're often out of town.
Sure.
And,
No.
Can I also make a recommendation? I don't know what's happening out there on dates, but I would say dates, you should be talking about like interests. Not like
about what you want.
From this potential person if they,
Smart.
like
Yes.
it's got to be like have some like topics that are interesting to you and that maybe things you've picked the people that you have dates with so you can like try to stay off the topic of relationships.
I agree.
If you can.
Yeah.
Because I think that like everyone being like, I want this. Okay. Well, it's just kind of like, what? We still need to like go on like 20 more dates before we even know if this could be a thing,
Totally. And even as I said to you,
For sure.
giving up control, you were like, yeah, but sometimes when the right situations are aligned, I can be a really good flirt. And you're still in the control zone. You got to get out of the control zone.
Right.
Go on 20 dates. 19 of them are going to be awful. And then the 20th one might be good.
I was going to say 10.
Yeah. All I'm saying is date a bunch of people and then go find what's out there. And even if it doesn't work out, you'll have a little bit of fun and meet some interesting people along the way.
Right. And is it bad if I'm like, hey, let's do a coffee first? Because
No.
rather than a whole evening.
That's
with
a classic date.
Our podcast producer, Laura, she said she never does drinks on a first date.
No, coffee's a classic first date. That's
I think
good.
that's
Yeah.
what you do now.
No. Yeah, that's a classic right there. Go for a coffee. It's easy. By the time you get to the end of a coffee, you know one thing for absolutely certain, whether you want to have dinner with that person. That's all you need to know.
For
If
sure.
you don't want to have dinner
For
with that
sure.
person, you say, Danke, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. I hate
yeah,
to
yeah.
go, but you will make me cry. Back to the little open mic of Berlin. There you go.
That was beautiful, Moshe.
Thank you.
Oh.
I feel like we're not being that helpful.
I think we are. We've identified the problem, which is that you are a boss and you want to be a boss in every part of your life. But there is one place where you don't necessarily have control, and it's other people. And so just go
do
meet
not
them.
mention that you
I'm a
haven't dated
sensitive
anyone in 8 years because people will think that's weird. I mean, you can tell them eventually. And just try to keep the topic on their interests, your interests, something you're interested, an exhibit you want to go see, a movie you want to go see, a movie you saw. Like, just try to just keep the conversation floating and see if it has potential. And also, I wouldn't be caught dead dating a German person. Sorry,
Wait, that's so racist.
no,
Same.
no, I would just, if I were in her position, I would definitely be trying to meet an American.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Or other cultures too.
What's wrong with the Germans? They've never
It's
done
just
anything to
the
hurt anybody.
No, it's not about them. It's just like the language barrier.
They're all smart and stuff.
Do you speak German?
Do you not understand that they are the Uber race? They are the thing that we look to for purity.
Do you speak German, Tara?
Not good enough. And so I actually have that on my profile. You need to speak enough English, and it's just such a literal culture. Like I've had Germans attempt to make jokes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, but go ahead, say it.
No, I've had Germans attempt to make jokes. I wasn't even aware they were making a joke.
Well, look, their comedy hasn't been great, but there's a lot of other really good things in Germany. You guys haven't read history because the Germans did everything right.
Okay. Well, listen, go on 10 dates.
Yeah, go on a bunch of dates,
Okay.
find yourself a nice Dutch man that's traveling through town and see what's out there for you.
I could do the Dutch. I could do the French. German, though, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like, it's very...
Yeah, what if I was doing the same thing but with Latin American cultures? I could
that
date
would-
an Ecuadorian. I could date a Costa Rican, but a Mexican? Are you kidding? No way,
I'm very
Jose.
pro Latin American men. I'm very pro Latin
Well,
American.
find some of them. I honestly think the secret to your success, in fact, I think the secret to most people's dating success people have these arbitrary and artificial timelines. That romance is supposed to happen on some sort of timeline, but you don't know when you're supposed to meet the person. I didn't know when I bumped into Natasha that she was going to be the woman I married.
And I met him at 38.
Right, I'm just like out.
Yeah.
It's just like the timeline is something you've made up. It's a schedule that they're not on. It's like I once saw a
Right.
bumper sticker that said "I'm not in your hurry," and I thought that was really smart. Like nobody's on your timeline. They're just out there living their lives, and your job as a romantic person in the world is to meet as many of them as you possibly can and not get murdered along the way until you find the one that makes you want to hang out with them more.
And you've spent the last
Right.
7 or 8 years, like creating this life for yourself, uprooting yourself, going to another country, assimilating, having jobs there, making money, flourishing. And it's like, okay, now you're there, you've done it. But now that you want to go to this next step, you might have to give up a little something, which might be one night a week of like dedicating to dating, even though it sounds pathetic. It's like, okay, well, maybe I won't do this open mic and maybe I will. You know, just you just got to give it a little bit of space. You weren't giving it space before because you didn't really need it. You thought it would just come along, and then you kept going full speed ahead with your careers. So now it's like you just have to give a little bit up.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Time-wise.
Like you don't know when you come home with a woman or a man that you're engaged to that the nanny of your children might be the actual person that your heart sings for. You think you're supposed to marry the Duchess, but in fact,
What, you like our nanny?
no. In fact, the right in front of your very eyes is the person that your children have fallen in love with, and you fell in love with her before you even realized that. And then when you marry them, you don't know what's going to happen. That perhaps the Germans themselves are going to come take over your town and make Austria a thing of the past, and you're going to have to escape to the hills through the Alps and make your way to Switzerland. You don't know.
Also, I think it'd be cool if I was dating. I think I would try to like go see some movies that I want to see or things I want to see. Then you can like go with them and then see what they thought about it. And then
that's
it's like
good. Oh, I
you
like that.
immediately get all of
like
the
that.
talk off of your relationship and your hopes and dreams and your past relationships and your career. It's like then you can just talk about this other thing.
Let's talk about Crazy Rich Asians, which is finally premiering as a first-run movie theater in Berlin. I think that is very wise advice, Natasha.
Thank you.
And do you think on the timeline thing, like if you meet someone and you have like a really nice connection and they're not ready at that time, do you see down the road if it's the right time, or are they done?
What does it matter? They're on there. If they tell you I'm not ready for anything, then you go meet 50 other people, and then if they come back and they go I'm ready now, then you see if they're down. It's it's all about getting out there and discovering. That's what I think.
Just don't fool yourself, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm not ready." It's like, ready for what? To like go out to dinner?
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying. It's like you want to make sure you're like, oh, they just want to date someone else.
When a man says I'm not ready for anything, I would say it's done. Bye. Keep moving. Get on that train that ran on time.
It's not like you're like, I need to have babies by, next September or whatever.
Right. Although some of these guys are pretty firm that they want kids or they only want to hook up. So it's
interesting.
Just get out.
I want to hook up. I want 3 kids.
Just stop trying to figure it out. Just get out there, have a good time, meet who's out there, have fun. That's all. You can't rush it. You cannot rush it. You can't rush old friends. And you can't rush new love.
But also, you can't have a blossoming relationship if you don't water it and give it energy and give it time.
Right. You got to get off stage and get on dick. That is, you see what you're doing with that yoga ball right now? You need to be out there with the men of Berlin.
She has not stopped riding that ball since we've been talking.
You're
so gorgeous.
You're beautiful. You're
very
talented.
horny and very autistic. So it's
this is good.
Yeah, maybe don't lead with the autism
or the sobriety. Just get out there and lead with what did you think of the movie? Let's go dance to techno. These are the kinds of things that Germans like. Do you like cutlets?
Right.
Ask them questions like that.
Yeah, you want to go out for schnitzel and
Perfect. Oh my God. Yes. All right. Good luck to you out there. We'll see you in the streets of Berlin.
Thank you so much.
Tara, you're gorgeous and young. Don't forget it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, Natasha, what's next?
That was a hard one.
I mean, it wasn't that hard. She just needs to go on more dates. I think I actually nailed it.
But she was like gorgeous. And
I nailed it. She was a gorgeous alpha woman and wanted to be in control of getting a man. But the thing is, you can't control that. You just have to go out there. I don't know where people get this notion. It frustrates me to no end. People call this podcast all the time and they go, "Oh, I've tried dating and it sucks out there." What the fuck does that mean? You're not dating a society. You're looking for an individual. So you have to go through, it's supposed to suck or you'd be with every person you date. You suck. Cool person. I'm going to hang out with them for a while. The only solution, it's just like stand-up, actually. I wish I was still talking to Tara. It's just like stand-up. You can't get better at stand-up until you do 1,000
that's true.
open mics. You can't find the person you're supposed to date until you walk run through all the people you're not supposed to date. It's so simple.
When I was, looking for a man to be my husband, after I had broken up with a relationship, I had a relationship, and then I took like 2 years off, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. I would go out when I did not want to go out.
Yeah, you just got to get out there.
Yeah, and it's like, it was annoying because I'm like, I only want to like watch TV on the couch. And I would like make myself go to some person's party where I didn't know anybody. And it was going to be so, it's a long drive. And you could talk yourself out of it a million different ways, but you just have to commit to it.
And now look what happened. Now look who you ended up with. Emmy Award-winning host Moshe Kasher, with a brand new book coming out January 30th called Subculture Vulture, available for pre-order now. All right, what's next? Should we do some secrets or should we do another call? For old time's sake, why don't we play a couple secrets?
Let's do it.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
You know what's annoying?
What's that?
Having to prepare your own food. Have you noticed this?
Oh, yeah.
I am the cook in our house, and I tell you, it takes a whole evening for me to make dinner, but that's over now, thanks to Factor.
Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery service takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores. I hate grocery stores. The prep work, hate that even more. And cooking fatigue, never get that because I don't cook. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions.
And it's not just dinner. They've got snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more. And if things get hectic for you, Factor gets flexible. You can change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals a week. You can pause. You can reschedule your deliveries anytime. Guess what? We've got a deal for you. If this sounds intriguing to you to eat healthier with all these different options, the calorie smart, the vegan veggie, and it's super delicious, head to factormeals.com/honeymoon50. Use that code honeymoon50 to get 50% off. That's code honeymoon50 at factormeals.com/honeymoon50.
Hi, Natasha. Hi, Moshe. I'm calling in with this secret. I was watching the movie Saltburn with a few friends the other night, and there are a few scenes that are, I think, already iconically kind of viscerally, absolutely disgusting. And the first one is the one where he's like drinking the guy's bathwater.
Why did you have to bring it up again?
He like fingers the sister on her period, and then he's like eating her blood and like smearing her blood all over her.
Spoiler alert!
He's like, I'm a vampire. And sorry, I guess this secret has a lot of spoilers.
No one's gonna see this movie
too.
after everyone hears what happened.
But my friends were watching that scene, being like, "Ew, that's fucking gross," and I was kind of like, "It's kind of hot." I don't know what it is about it. I love having sex on my period. I've never had my period blood smeared on me or put in my mouth, and I don't think I want that. But something about it is just kind of hot. And then I realized, I was like, there's somebody out there watching that bathtub scene thinking the same thing. Their friends are going, that's fucking vile. And they're like, in their head, like, oh.
Yeah.
Kind of sexy. All right. Love you both. Bye.
Okay.
See, now I kind of feel like no one would do that. I feel like that was.
No, you're wrong.
No, the blood thing, of course, I've done it. But I'm just saying.
You've done it?
I'm saying the bathtub scene, there was something extremely disgusting about it because it's like there's hair in the bottom of the bathtub, and that doesn't bring you closer to anyone. Like I could get smelling their underwear or something, but like drinking their dirty bathwater at the licking, like Frenching the drain. There's like always hair in a drain.
It was jizz.
Oh, the guy jerked off.
He jerked off.
Right. But it's jizz mixed with a bunch of water and
jizz water
hair.
Come hair.
Jizz water I could slurp,
You never
I guess.
saw that? You never listened to that? You could?
I mean,
that
I hear that part of it.
You never listened to that iconic Red Hot Chili Peppers album?
What's that?
Jizz water come hair?
That's not funny, Moshe.
No? No?
I mean, it doesn't even sound like
Like blood, sugar, sex, magic?
What are you calling it?
Jizz water come hair?
No.
Just not funny.
No.
I think we should put a spoiler alert ahead of that.
No, everyone's talking about that. That's like the third time I've heard someone mention that today.
That's fucked up, man. What if someone's
That's not the plot.
What if someone's driving to watch Saltburn and they are like, I'll just slap on the secret dump. And then all of a sudden we got this lady talking about how horny she got watching Barry Keogh like paint war paint on his face in period blood.
Listen, I think it's cool when a man wants to fuck when you're on your period. I get that it's hot because you're like, oh, they want me so much. They don't care that I have like blood gushing out of me.
Biohazard. Yeah.
Not everyone thinks of it as a biohazard, Moshe.
It's
You
blood.
do.
I'm going to Google biohazard. Okay.
When you say
I'm gonna
biohazard,
ask
you mean like it could make
ChatGPT.
someone sick?
Biohazard is biological hazard. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
Is urine a biohazard?
Yes. What are some examples of biohazard? Okay. Examples of biohazard include first word, blood. First, blood.
But what about vaginal blood?
Okay,
That might be
I'm gonna ask him,
different
what
than the blood that comes out of your
about-
arm.
What about vag blood?
Wait, you think Chat GPT? What if they're like, you can't talk
They
to
are
me
going to
like
probably
that?
say that, to be honest with you.
Kind of got a stick up her butt. That
Vaginal
ChatGPT.
blood or menstrual blood is considered a biohazard
It doesn't say that.
if it is contaminated with infectious agents. Proper disposal methods include biohazard bags or containers should be followed to minimize any potential health risks associated with its handling.
So if it's a biohazard, why can't I flush my tampon down a toilet? Why do I have to take it out of me and wrap it up in toilet paper?
That's a plumbing hazard.
No, but I have to touch it. Kind of.
Isn't there like a
I have to touch the
ripcord?
string. Yeah, the ripcord. That gets bloody sometimes. You brought it up.
You get blood on the ripcord?
Sometimes.
Dang, I didn't know you got blood on the ripcord.
So you're saying
I
that
have
a
an
woman
idea.
every day has to be...
Oh my God, I just thought of an unbelievable idea.
What?
Okay, these are called long pons. Okay, it's just a regular tampon, but the ripcord goes down to your ankle. It's like 3 feet long, and you tie it around your ankle. And when you're ready, you just put your leg up and you untie it from your ankle and you yoink it out. Or you could put it on around a mouse's neck and throw a piece of cheese, and the mouse runs and it pops it right out of you.
And then you got the biohazard all over the dining room wherever you're doing that.
Well, right, okay, so the mouse.
I'm assuming the dining room you're eating.
Yeah. Okay, the mouse is maybe a bad idea, but still. Oh, this is an even better idea. You put a fishing weight at the end of the string. You throw that into the toilet and flush, and it just sonks it on out.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I love it.
It's a good idea,
I think
right?
it's really great. I think you should go to Facebook Marketplace or
How about
people.
Shark Tank?
Shark Tank would be great.
Hi, sharks. You know Shark Week is coming. Something like that.
All right. Well, listen. Can we please change the topic?
Well, I didn't bring it up.
Hi, Moshe and Natasha. I have a secret. I don't know if you guys play the New York Times, like, puzzle games. My husband and I are really into connections. And we play it in the app. But my secret is that I also play it in my, like, Safari browser on my phone to make sure I get everything right so that I can always have a perfect score, especially if it's, like, a really hard one. And he'll be like, man, that was so hard. I'll be like, yeah, almost didn't get them all right, like all perfect. And he'll be like, what? You got that perfect? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just like really good at word games. And it's just a white lie because I want him to just like know, to think, to know that I'm smarter than him. Anyways, love the podcast. Okay, bye.
I don't think that's a white lie if every day you're lying to your husband, because that comes out, or is that just on Sundays?
Yeah, it's Sundays, I guess.
Once a week, there's an everyday one. Okay, every day you're lying to your husband saying you're smarter than you are.
She cheats at the game and then goes and plays it with her husband, and then it's like, oh, I got another one right? That's fucking insane.
I do think that is a little weird, I have to say.
Huh. That is wild. What is that game? Laura, do you play it?
Remember our friends were playing it every day? I'm not smart enough to play
Wait, it's
those
not
games.
Wordle. Remember when all those fucking dorks were like posting their Wordle scores? That was. I'm not even kidding. That was the worst time in the last 5 years. Was the 3 months that people were posting their Wordle scores. That was the worst thing that happened in the last 5 years.
I agree.
By far. Wordle. I want to play. I did play a game the other day on New York Times, and I was good at it.
Oh yeah, our friends play the crossword puzzle.
It wasn't a crossword; it was something else. But I was good at that one.
Does that one come out on Sundays?
That was a Sunday one. I think.
Do you want to play it with me?
I would love to.
You know you'll beat me.
Are you going to be on your period?
I don't know,
Because I don't even play crossword game. I don't even play New York Times games with girls on their period. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what. Oh, Captain got very excited when he heard the word period. Are you a menstrual dog? Yeah, Captain's a member of the family now.
So do you think that that's bad, Moshe? Do you think that's a white lie? What constitutes a white lie?
Well, first of all, it's not called a white lie. She's cheating. It's cheating. There's a word for it. Cheating. She's cheating at the game.
Okay.
She goes and gets the answers? Is that what? Did I hear it right?
Yeah. And then
That's
she's
crazy.
like, oh, I don't know. I guess I just
How do I
figured
do
it out.
that again? That's insane.
I would say check yourself, miss.
Yeah, check yourself,
You know,
Captain.
or you know what? Maybe don't do it one time and see what happens, because you don't want someone to you don't want to be lying to your husband like that.
You guys want to hear Captain talk? Okay, hold on.
Moshe,
No, this will be good. Oh.
you have to do his face.
Forget
Riveting.
it. He's not really coming alive.
All right, maybe we can cut that part out.
No way. It's staying in. There it is. There we go. We got it. We got it. All right, now step off. Okay. We will now call Adam in Texas. That's my German accent. What did you think?
I feel like you can still make fun of Germans.
It's close, but yeah, I think you might be okay. It does feel like the window's closing.
To make fun of Germans?
Yeah, I think eventually.
Ha
Adam.
ha 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 ha.
Adam,
Hey,
what's
Is
up?
that your DVD collection behind you?
no, it's all comic books.
I mean, I think
Oh,
it's weird
cool.
that he's got a suspended cloud in the air behind him, and you asked about the comic book.
I was getting to that.
That seems definitely the more prominent feature of the room. Is that art? What is that? Is that a zoom trick?
It's a lamp, like a handmade cloud lamp.
Ah, it's cool. All right.
Awesome.
Adam, what's up? How can we help?
So recently had a situation. Basically, me and my wife's house flooded, and we were forced to leave out of the house for almost a year. So we ended up moving in with my sister-in-law and her husband for 5 months.
And that cloud lamp? No, I'm just kidding.
And brought the cloud lamp with us.
Well,
That was the main issue.
listen, brother, I can tell you why you had the flooding issue in the first place. Motherfucker got a rain cloud in his bedroom, you know? That's first and foremost right there.
Okay,
Right.
okay. So
Yeah, I should've known.
you moved in with your brother and sister, or her
Sister-in-law.
Okay, so her sister.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we were there for about 5 months, and things were going really good. Roommates can be tricky, but it was honestly really smooth. We all felt closer, really positive experience, loved it. Then recently on Christmas Eve, me and my wife walked into the backyard and saw basically a string of dog shits hung like a wind chime in front of our faces.
Wait.
You mean like Christmas popcorn thread, but it was dog shit?
like I think it was fishing line and like evenly spaced,
Whoa.
just like 3 or 4 in a line.
Was it in your bedroom area, like in your area, like it was like a fuck you to you, or this is just what they decorate with?
No, it's like as soon as you walk into the backyard, it's like very apparent, meant to be seen.
Got it. Okay, are they dry? Dry shits? Or are they kind of
I don't know if
soggy?
they're wet or dry. I have no idea. It was just in dog bags.
Oh, it was in dog bag. Okay, because I wasn't getting the image. I was picturing fishing wire.
Like popcorn string?
Yeah, through the turd,
shit?
and then, but that wouldn't make sense unless it was dry and it'd
It
be
would
hard.
make sense with Blanche's shits though, because she leaves those around.
They're
all
more
the time.
solid.
Yeah,
you're
they're
saying?
like really hard.
They're nice and solid. But these are in dog shit bags,
Yeah.
hung up with care, like stockings.
Yeah, with care,
Yeah.
very thought out.
Okay.
Impressively, yeah.
Okay.
And so we walk out, and it just so happens that my brother-in-law, Tim, he pulls up at the same time. In my head, I didn't even realize what it was. It took me a second. I just thought he was doing some project, whatever. He walks up, and my wife asks him what that was about. And he says, well, he keeps finding dog shit in the backyard, and no one's picking it up. And it's a problem, basically. And so my wife says, well, each couple has one dog. And my wife's like, well, it's not just our dog. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I keep finding them and it's a problem. Like I told my wife too. And then he kind of starts screaming at my wife, saying like,
I'm the dog shit artist of East Texas.
"These are mine," and basically just saying that like, I'm tired of it. This is unacceptable. And my wife is like, well, we do other things around the house and we do our best and etc. But he's like, neck vein popping, pointing a finger, saying like, well, then don't do anything for me. Like,
Texas
just,
style.
and then storms off basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no offense, but
Mhm.
if you're staying at someone's house for free with your dog,
Or is it for free or are you paying rent? You're paying rent.
We like help with utilities.
okay.
So free.
If you're staying at someone else's, I mean, what I would do, but I'm like a people pleaser, I would probably be picking up all the dog shit every day.
Mm.
I would be like trying to have like no, what do they say in Burning Man? No matter.
Leave no trace.
Yeah, leave no trace.
Moop.
Like,
No
and
poop moop.
contribute. When I let my friend Jenny stay at my place when I'm gone, when I come back, it always looks nicer than when I left it. Those are the kind of people that I want to like
You're
lend my
blaming
place
Adam?
to. No, I'm just saying.
Adam, she's blaming you. He got neck vein
Now,
over here.
now the way they did it, I think, is like very aggressive, and it's like, oh, how about like a little like prep? Like you don't go from like he's coming at you at 10.
He's coming at you with God level passive aggressive. I've never seen an art project of passive aggressiveness before.
It's pretty disturbing. Like this recently, this Christmas, I was with a friend who had 3 kids, and I had my kid, and we're all at this restaurant, and the kids, I guess, were like climbing on a table or something. I was not even paying attention. I was just talking to my friend, and then all of a sudden, this man is like, "You need to control your kids." And I was just like, what? Like, it was just like so high. It's like
the reaction wasn't commensurate.
It didn't
to the
match.
offense.
Yeah, like you need to like give people a little bit of a prep. So like, yes, he's obviously been bottling this in for like
Maybe literally bottling it. He might have been saving it in bottles.
But are you still at this house?
So not anymore. So this is actually,
Okay.
we're back in our house now.
Good.
And it like wasn't livable. We made it livable because basically we weren't able to live there anymore. And so I totally agree with what you said, Natasha, that like that's how we want to be as well. Leave it nicer than you found it. Take care of everything. And I feel like we did that. That is an area where we could have done better, but
You
we
slipped
didn't
a
ever,
little.
Like I would go, yeah, and I would go out and like clean them and do a search and clean them all every now and then. He definitely did the majority, but then we felt like maybe we made it up in other ways where we did certain things that
Right.
they didn't do around the house, and and happily, it was very positive. We just didn't realize how big of an issue it was, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, so that was on Christmas Eve, and
Merry
it was
Christmas.
very awkward.
Wait, did his wife know that's how he wanted to tell you?
No, I think he had like it came to him in a moment of like artistic brilliance.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he just went out and did it.
Meth.
Yeah, it does sound like a meth project. It's a meth resentment.
Okay, we're not saying he's on meth. All right, so how are you guys now? It's like a broken relationship.
So it's just very awkward. Like we're
Mhm.
not on non-speaking terms, but it's not nearly like before. It was like we're like a family unit. I mean, so tight. Like we got really close to one another, and then it got really awkward after that. And we're like, okay, well, let's take our dog out in the front. That way, there's no confusion who's shitting where.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, you
do it
could have
that way.
said, I'm saying, but you could have said, I'll just pick up all the dog shit every day.
Yes,
For you too. For
but-
your dumb dog too.
Yeah, true. And we.
I mean,
could have-
opening up
we
your
just felt
house
like-
for a year is a lot.
5 months.
Okay, 5 months.
So that's
Yeah.
a lot. It's still a lot. It's a lot.
But go on. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying like maybe there's some room here for some kind of statement.
But it's
or
too
some
late
kind of
now
letter.
anyway. It didn't happen, right? So where are we at now?
So basically, then the next day on Christmas, Sarah, my sister-in-law, basically asked us to leave, but she did it like very calmly. She kind of was coming at it like, "Hey, maybe this is a solution," because like Tim's still pissed off. So maybe if you guys leave for a few days, that'll make it better. And so then we kind of were like on such short notice on Christmas, like where do we go? We can come back to our house, but it's like a mess because no one's been in there for like 9 months, furniture everywhere, no kitchen, etc. So we're like, okay, we can do that. So we took all of our stuff, but we kind of basically decided to leave for good because we felt like
You should have taken a big shit a human shit inside the house as you left. That would have been a fun zone.
just a nice send off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go home and all that, but we just felt like the reaction was outsized or like could have been communicated earlier before it got to that point.
Had he never said, "Hey, I'm frustrated about the dog shit situation"?
So he did mention it once.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then from that point, yeah. So from that point, we did try to improve on it.
Yeah.
And I felt like we did. And there would just be times where, the other couple too would like let the dog out and, maybe not watch. And
Sure.
it would be
Okay, so now you're back at your house. They're there, and you're just thinking about next Christmas. What's it going to be like?
But also, he's like in a house that's unlivable, right? Like, do you want to get back to their house?
So right now it's like, we're like eating out of cans and like we cleaned it up. And I mean, it took a decent amount of work to clean it up. And we are also traveling soon thereafter. So all that. And so, it's like the kitchen's not usable. And
when will the kitchen be usable?
Another few weeks, most likely.
So what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want, man? What do you want from us? We're on Tim's side right now, hardcore.
No, we're not. But I'm sorry, dog shit is kind of nasty, and I hate I think it's so disgusting to touch someone else's dog shit, even though my dog's shit is the same shit. But I don't think that's gross for some reason.
What do they say? Company is like dog shit. It starts to stink immediately.
No. So tell us what's your ideal situation, or is it you want to repair the relationship?
Basically focus around repairing the relationship. Like it's awkward, and we felt like it was disrespectful in a way, just the way that it came about, and that like I just can't imagine myself having that sort of reaction, and that we want to continue the relationship, get back to where it was, but it feels really awkward, and I want to continue, but I also feel like it's hard for me to not see him differently after the situation.
Sure.
And so that's kind of like, there are things where I would let go that maybe now I feel like maybe in the future I kind of shouldn't let go because of how, he felt comfortable treating people, I guess, in that moment.
I have a question. So it's your wife's sister and her husband, right? That's the dynamic. Yeah. And you guys were all thick as thieves. How long have you been married?
2 years.
And how long have they been married?
Something like 5.
Okay, got it. And now you want to see if you can get back to that loving feeling that you had before. But now there's this like specter of his rage that's getting in the way of it. Have you ever had conflict with him in the past that was like this? Or is this like all of a sudden he revealed that he was a beast?
Not to this level. I think maybe there were signs of like, personality traits.
Got it.
And stuff.
I had a friend, I was just talking to Natasha about this the other day, because Natasha and I have very different conflict styles. And Natasha doesn't like it and wants to avoid it at all costs. And I think that things usually should be approached head on. Now, it sounds like to me, my feeling is that nobody did that here. Nobody was really fully honest about what they were experiencing. And you haven't yet been fully honest with him about how traumatic that was, and he wasn't fully honest with you about how annoyed he was at your presence. He was like pretending that everything was cool, but then it came out in this like rage and folk art, outsider art themed kind of like project. So if I'm you, I think that relationship, I wonder what you think, Natasha, but if I'm you, I think that relationship deserves one shot at a real conversation where you say, Tim, I would like to make an attempt to clear the air and have a real conversation about what went down, your frustrations, my frustrations, because I want to get us back to where we were at before all that went down. Are you open to a conversation like that? And then sit down, the two of you, maybe even, this might be a little bit too touchy-feely for old Tim, for old shitbags, but maybe even with a moderator, like an outsider, like a therapist even. Just
I
like,
hate when you suggest this because it is not, people don't hire therapists.
they can and they should. But what I'm saying is if there's going to be too much rage, then maybe it's good to have an outsider there. But maybe that's too...
Or what about the wives?
The wives? The wife is the one that got in the screaming match with Tim. Adam's cool as fucking crystal over here, chilling by his cloud.
Right.
You think Adam is the conflict desirer in the relationship? Look how cool he is. No way. It's
Yeah.
that wife of yours, that hot-headed wife of yours. No, but my point is, you don't have to hire the therapist, obviously. That is a little weird for some people. But I think a relationship like this deserves one big talk to see if it's salvageable. Maybe you will find out information in that conversation where you go, oh, I was right about Tim. Like, this fool sucks. Or maybe you'll go, oh, I see. This was a situation where he was frustrated. He didn't want us there in the first place, and he likes us, but he was grinning and bearing it the whole time, and then it came out in this very immature way. But I think, like I said, my old friend Gerald used to say, you're not really friends with somebody until you've had a big fight with them and then gotten past it. And there's something about that I believe. Like, you have to have a huge conflict and then move past it. That's where real intimacy happens. It's not from a perfectly peaceful relationship. It's from having real conflict and then seeing if you can make it through it.
Are you and your wife a united front on this? Does she think he's like a psychopath?
I think we're like equally upset about it. I mean, her more so. She was, like you were saying, more the target of it. And we definitely want to continue the relationship and plan on having that conversation. But we felt like in the moment, I do hear y'all's points. We felt like he was kind of clearly in the wrong in terms of how it was handled, and that like it would just be awkward. Like now, if he was like angry for days after that point, after like screaming at us, that like it, now if we have to watch our words when we talk with him and etc. But we do want to have that conversation.
This is why I'm such a big believer in saying exactly what you mean and not ever dancing around what you actually want. Like, having a conversation where we say, this is awkward, and we want to have a real conversation with you about what happened so that we can see if we can move past it.
But you're probably
different than saying, hey, what's up, Tim? How you doing, man? Hope we're good. That's not the same thing. Like,
but if you want him to admit that how he handled it was poor, I don't know that you're going to get that.
I kind of agree.
And I don't know that should be the goal going into it. I believe the goal going into it is thank them for their generosity. I don't know what we would have done without you guys. It was so helpful. The house is almost, I mean, this is kind of passive aggressive. It's like the house is almost livable. Now we're back. I mean, you went into your house before you should have, and you kind of want him to know that like now you're eating out of cans, but like, I guess that wouldn't really help the cause. I mean, so you tell him how grateful you are and say like, I feel, I'm appalled by that. And now that I'm looking back at it, I realize I should have just been very much more fastidious about that. And, I tried, but I didn't try good enough. And and the thing you said to us, we were all so tight. I really, you're family to me, and that meant a lot to me. And I just want to make sure we're still cool. I mean, you might let him off the hook because he's clearly embarrassed for acting like that. He's never acted like that before. It was obviously being like built up.
Yeah.
What do you think, Moshe?
Well, I more or less agree. I mean, I used to have this old AA sponsor when I was dating this woman, or anytime I was upset about anything, I would say, I want to confront this person about something. And he would always ask me the same thing. He's like, why? Do you want to tell them off, or do you want to salvage your relationship with them? If your goal is to tell them off, it's almost never worth it. Sometimes it is. Sometimes just telling someone off is worth it. But most of the time, if I'm like, no, I want to scream at them and then tell them they're out of my life, well, they're already out of your life by virtue of the situation you're in now. The only time generally for me that it's worth it to have a conversation like that is when I'm trying to do repair on a relationship to see if there's something salvageable. And I think like what you might find in that conversation. There's no question Tim was a fucking asshole.
If you asked 100 people if this was a reasonable way to tell you to pick up dog shit,
nobody would.
No one would agree with him.
No.
And he knows that, and you know that. And so it's like, why get him to admit that?
Nobody, 100%. Natasha's right. Like it's unarguable that he was a fucking asshole. But there might be other things. If you took that fucking asshole part and threw it into another area and then looked at the rest of the situation, it's entirely possible that there were things that you were doing that you didn't even realize you were doing. Or there were things that Tim was signaling to you because he probably obviously doesn't have a way to communicate his thoughts maturely, where he was trying to say, he should have told you at month 2, hey, I think I need my space back. But somehow he waited 3 more months of just like anger fueled resentment because it can't just be the dog shit. It's got to be more than that. And then it exploded. So he's not a good communicator.
And he also might not be realizing that you're doing the dishes or doing, it's like,
right.
It just didn't quite add up in his head because he doesn't think about that. He's like, of course you should do the dishes, or you're living here and I bought the food, or whatever.
Yeah, because nobody said, hey, we're going to do the dishes and we're going to do the dishes and all this other stuff, and we hope that will offset any resentment about the errant dog shit you may find. And then he says, okay, that is good. Tim likes this. That's the way. It's awkward and weird, but that's why clear communication is so important. He was building up this resentment, and then it exploded into rage. If you want him in your life, I believe that you have to say, I want to clear the air so that we can get back to seeing if we can be in a close relationship anymore. And you might find in that conversation that you did more wrong than you thought you did. And you might find in that conversation that Tim is incapable of having that kind of relationship and he's not the person you thought he was. All of that is good information.
But you also shouldn't I don't think you should get into big details about you did this and I did that, but then you did that. I mean, that stuff doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It doesn't matter. And it's like, he's got one version, you've got one version. You can even say, like, thinking back, I should have just, instead of moving your dog shit to the front of the yard, I would have just been like, hey, I'm staying here. I'll pick it all up. You can say, I regret that I didn't just decide to pick all the dog shit up. I just wasn't thinking, we're just so appreciative that you guys lent your house to us. And, you're like family to me. And how can we repair this? Like, I still want to have that, I don't think you need to be like, I did this, and this, and I thought that would be enough.
Yeah, no, a lot of times people go into these kinds of conversations, I have noticed, they go into these conversations going, I can't admit that I did anything wrong because the thing they did was so wrong that for me to capitulate on any level would be showing weakness, or it would be dishonest, or it wouldn't have integrity. But the thing is, even if you cut Tim out of your life, which I think might be a totally reasonable thing for you to do, it would be better to cut him out of your life with a clean relational slate so that you can see him next Christmas and be like, hey, Tim, how you doing? Than to cut him out of your life with this like burning resentment. It's better to end a relationship after having cleaned up everything you did wrong than to end a relationship where there's chaos on both sides. That is my strong belief.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think I was taking it from like, now the dog shit is like a different conversation. Because like that, I admit, we could have done better about that. But then he turned into a separate conversation about how you treat people. But I do think that makes a lot of sense. I was worried about maybe it'd be harder to bite my tongue if there's something comes up that I don't like. But I hear what y'all are saying, kind of just like, maybe they're super generous, kind of eat it in the conversation a little bit and
also tell them like in the, and I want us to have an open line of communication. And I want you to know you can tell me if I might not be aware of it, let me know if there's something that's bothering you.
But I'm also not saying that you should go to this dude and say, here's all the things I did wrong. We're sorry and we apologize. Thank you, Tim. I think it's acceptable to say, but the way that things went down, the way we communicated felt super like, unacceptable to both of us, and we want to work through that. I don't think always making an amends to someone means that you're like capitulating to like have everything being great on their side. I think it's okay to say we want to work through this and it wasn't cool the way this all went down for us too. But it doesn't, what Natasha's saying is right, it doesn't mean listing out a bunch of petty grievances. You're saying like dog shit is a different conversation. I would say the dog shit's no longer the conversation at all. It doesn't even matter at all. The dog shit's
Yeah, maybe don't even mention it.
Yeah, I don't think the shit matters. I think what matters is that you had a relationship where you both felt super violated, that somebody that you loved treated you like somebody that barely knew you, and now you still have them in your life. And
But they also mostly treated them like people they love.
Yep.
And they made, I mean, there are
Yep, that's a
very
good point.
few people I would let come live at my house for 5 months, 2 people and a dog.
That's a good point.
I mean, I think that's a list of 0. So,
Very true.
Yeah.
I think just really focusing on that is good, and it's slightly manipulative, but it's
I think the question is to Tim and your sister-in-law and your wife. I would like to have a conversation where we clear the air and see if we can move past what happened on Christmas Eve. Are you open to that?
Are you open to coming over to our unfinished kitchen and popping open a can of beans with us?
It would be funny if they did it in the kitchen. They're like, "Hey, we unfortunately we wanted to make you dinner, but as you do know, our stove doesn't work because of the flood damage." But I think also like you might find Tim might say no, I'm not, no, fuck you, and then you go, great, I've got all this information about Tim, I can't have him in my life anymore, awesome. Or Tim might go there and he might be like, I'm super ashamed of what I did, I'm so sorry, you guys are like family to me. Or Tim might go and he just wants to. Your job, I would say, is to set it up so where you want to have that conversation, and then this is what I try to do in situations like this, take it or leave it. I try to analyze on a deep level, leaving aside completely how angry I am at the way Tim acted, what I could have done differently to make that situation better. You and your wife could do that together. So you're armed with a list of things that you are capable of saying when they say all this stuff, because all this resentment doesn't really matter. The resentment does matter, but all this like, Tim's might come to you and go, you did this and you did this and you did this. And then if you know that you did those things, then you'll be armed. You won't be upset. You'll go, you're right. Those things we could have done differently. We apologize. How can we move through this? Here are some of the things we felt like you did. And then you see if there's a salvageable relationship. That's what I think.
Take the high road.
Yeah. Do you think, is there any value if I do feel some resentment about other things in the past, about bringing them into while we're clearing the air to clear out all the air? Or is that just, my own deal that I need to?
I don't think that has value personally. Yeah, it's saying, but as I've thought about it, I realize there were other things you did that were a little bit inconsiderate.
What do you want him? I mean, the guy's kind of crazy. I mean, what do you want from him? It's like, I think that you guys just all for having this cool family vibe is the best you're going to get. Right. You want him to admit he was wrong. He's not going to do that.
The most I would say is something like, we both had frustrations about each other, and now that we've moved out, we realize it's probably because we were just too close with each other. But here were the things where, here's what we need to move past. You don't really need to move past your petty resentments. Your petty resentments have become outsized now that you have a major resentment against him. You're like, actually, this dude fucking sucks, and I realize it. But really what you need to do is see if you can salvage the relationship.
You can do this.
You got it. You seem cool, actually. I'd hang out with you, and guess who I wouldn't hang out with, dude? Timbo.
Well, if
old shitbag.
If you're going to come over and we're going to hang out with you, don't bring your dog.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll be fucking screaming in your wife's face before you even leave the LA County line.
We have German Shepherd shits to clean up over here.
Yeah. I mean, that is to be honest, it's kind of cool that he did that. It's not cool like on any...
It is kind of funny.
It isn't cool. Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, but hearing the story, I'm kind of like, I'm glad he did that, because that's a better story than him just saying, could you clean up your dog shit, please?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to you.
Sorry that happened. You can repair this.
It takes courage and it takes humility in these situations.
It's cool that you guys had a good vibe before. So it's like, how do we get back to this? I've learned from this. You don't have to say, we've all learned, because you don't know what he's learned, but just say, I've learned from this experience.
These kinds of conversations take courage and humility. Courage to do the thing that is uncomfortable, that you don't want to do, and humility to let go of the part where you think like, I could win the argument if I just brought up that. Never will happen.
Everyone's on your side. He's crazy.
Yeah, he sounds like an asshole. Tim, if you're listening, we think you're an asshole. All right? We got you.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Man, I should start doing that to you when I'm like mad that you've like left dishes out or something. Just kind of like string them up as garland, or like what
Ooh,
could
that
your
is-
socks? Your socks. I could put your socks on
Ooh.
fishing wire all throughout the house.
That would drive me fucking insane.
That's a crazy
It's a
crazy take.
Well, it's just there's so many steps on the road before hanging up bags of shit. There's so many steps. You know what I mean? You
He
say
didn't take them.
you say one time an offhanded comment about the dog shit, and then your next move after the first time you bring it up is a sculpture of doo-doo.
That makes me think maybe like the guy's dangerous.
He seems like he sucks. That's what I'm saying about these conversations that are so important. Is it's not just because you salvage a relationship. It's also because when you take emotion out of it, and you come back a month later and you say, hey, I'm here because I want to like repair this. And then the person is unhinged in that conversation. You're like, I get it. This is an unhinged person. This is not a person who had a bad night. This is a bad person who had a good couple of months the first little while I was living there. And then that's such important information. Then you hold that person like that at arm's length and you only see them on holidays and you don't have, it's like, it's all information.
So if you know someone who has strung some dog shit in your backyard, give us a call at 213-222-8608. Also, that's our secret hotline.
You can also find us on our website, Amazon.com, and just punch in Subculture Vulture in the search little field there and pre-order the book. Oh, and by the way, we're low on secrets right now, so why don't you call us? Leave some secrets. If you got some secrets, you got a weird thing that you do that nobody else knows about, we'd like to know about it. Yes?
Go ahead.
No, please.
Also, check us out on YouTube. You can watch the whole podcast on YouTube. You can look at who we're talking about and subscribe.
Yeah, you can find us on Patreon too. Become a supporter of this podcast.
Ad-free episodes, quarterly dinner parties,
At a
art
certain
from my
tier.
child.
At a certain tier.
No, the dinner parties are for all.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not? Sorry. Well, you have to there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, I know. And you could be one of them if you just got to that right tier. Get to that tier. We want you in. But you know what? If you've gotten enjoyment out of this podcast and you're like, that's worth $5 a month. Maybe you're not. Maybe you think that's worth $2.50 a month. Here's what you can do. You sign up $5 a month and do an go to Rocket whatever money and tell them to cancel your fucking subscription 6 months in and then keep listening. That's $2.50 a month for a year. It's a little more work on your part, but the good people over at Rocket Money make it a lot easier.
All right. Well,
Goodbye.
Moshe?
Oh, wait, Natasha and
Yeah.
Emmy. I love you guys.
I love you too.